Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Hi. How you doing? Feeling good, I hope. Secure. Let us continue with the MahaPariNirvana Sutra in this 5th chapter on the adamantine body. Now, Shakyamuni is in conversation with Kashyapa, and this teaching, because it's Kashyapa, it's not just for Kashyapa. Kashyapa is asking these questions in lieu of many other monks who may not get the opportunity. And Shakyamuni makes a direct statement here, although it's a little cryptic in this translation, so I've added a couple of words to make it read more clearly, not changing it. Shakyamuni says to Kashyapa, he says, by correctly upholding wonderful Dharma, now we know the wonderful Dharma, he's speaking of the Lotus Sutra, right? By correctly upholding wonderful Dharma, one obtains the adamantine body. Obtains the adamantine body. Remember what I've said about the body. It's the experience of, more accurately, the experience of within the Saha world, or the physical realms, the entire cosmos of expression of potential. And so by adhering closely, tightly with the Lotus Teaching, we can experience and express within our Saha life this Tathagata-field potential. Understand this circular connection with the quiescent energy, the formations of energy, and the instantiations of energy, directed by, influenced by innumerable tendencies and conditions, which by active invocation of the Tathagata field within our Saha life, we can align to Buddhahood. This is the same message over and over and over and over. So let me read through this one paragraph and you'll see what I mean. By correctly upholding the wonderful Dharma, one obtains, manifests this potential of the adamantine body, which is what? Next sentence. O Kashyapa, as I have in the past well-guarded Dharma, I am now rewarded with perfecting this adamantine body, which is of the Tathagata field, eternal or outside of time, and indestructible. Why is it indestructible? Because the potential isn't at risk in this Saha world, this physical realm of forms. It is beyond, outside of, and constant in the expression of the cosmos, the expression of the potential taking form as Buddhahood. And you are the vehicle, because this happens in your ninth consciousness, in your mind. It doesn't happen in a pond. It doesn't happen in a petri dish. It doesn't happen in the refrigerator, although many incredible things happen in refrigerators. Sorry, remembering my youth. So isn't that fascinating? It's very clear if you have this understanding. If you haven't gone through this connectivity of the rhetoric, and unfortunately, I would say as 99.9% of the academicians and translators have had trouble doing, even Shakyamuni's own students of his day having a hard time grappling with it, thus this book. O good man, one who upholds wonderful Dharma does not receive the 5 precepts and practice comportment, but protects with the sword, bow, arrow, and halberd those bhikshus who uphold the precepts and who are pure. Once again, the message, nobody hands you Buddhahood. Nobody hands you these rewards. You do so by being so determined and seeing your brothers and sisters on the planet as your one and only child. Remember, all these lessons aren't just throwaways. I learned how to make a PB&J sandwich. Now I can cook a steak. No. But use some of the knowledge that you learned from the sandwich to aid in your expression, your execution, your diligence, raise your skills on all the skills that you've learned. Not done with that one, move on to this one, right? That's how we tend to think. Okay, done that. It's like the person who listens to the radio and listens to the first few beats of a song and goes, oh, I know that one changes the station. Oh, I know that one changes the station. You're not even participating. Why do you even bother listening, right? This is part of what I mean when I say savor your practice. Every little lesson helps to clarify, to embody, inculcate the meaning of the next. Like the alphabet helps you to understand how to read words, and how to read words helps you to understand how to combine them, to say something, illustrate something. And that leads to understanding grammar and why it's important, and so on and so forth, right? It's a teaching. And you are the teacher. Every student has to become the teacher in order to really understand the meaning, right? This is the difference between the worlds of learning and realization. In learning, you're just a funnel with information being shoved down there. Training yourself to know these terms. But then when they connect, there's realization. Oh, now I get why this, that. They're different realms. Bodhisattva Kashyapa said to Shakyamuni, because he's not about to let more than 4 words go by without asking another question, O world-honored one, if a bhikshu is unprotected, living alone in the open, in a graveyard or under a tree, I say that such a one is a true bhikshu. So again, he's challenging Shakyamuni's elucidation, right? Because this refers to an older teaching, the lone rhinoceros. Any bhikshu whose eyes turn to protection is, we may know, a bogus, untrue monk. Shakyamuni just told you that this was the way to inculcate greater depth of meaning and you're challenging him and telling him those are false monks. Why? And this is a perfect example of translation bias. It isn't a big deal in this instance, but I seriously doubt there was an ancient 3,000 years old Sanskrit term for bogus dude. Right? Because in the a bogus, untrue monk, a bogus monk. Shakyamuni said to Kashyapa, "Do not say untrue monk or bogus. There may be a bhikshu who goes where he will, satisfies his personal needs, recites sutras, sits, and meditates. Should anyone come and ask about the way, he will bestow lectures. He will speak about giving, observing the precepts, virtuous acts, and say that one should desire little and be satisfied. But he is not able to raise the lion's roar of the doctrine, is not surrounded by lions, and is not able to subdue those who do malevolence. Such a bhikshu cannot realize his own profit, enlightenment, nor is he able to assist others because he's sequestered himself. Know that this person is indolent and lazy, or maybe afraid. Yeah, I've had students who, I can't chant anymore. I can't do it anymore. I can't do the recitation anymore because I'm seeing things and my life's going to hell and I'm afraid of it. I'm afraid of what I'm being challenged with. I don't think I can overcome it. I've met you. We all have doubts and they all express themselves in the most effective way for our karma. It's very personal. Though he may be well uphold the precepts and stick to pure actions, such a person, you should know, can do nothing. Or there may be a bhikshu whose utensils may be full, and he upholds the prohibitive precepts and always utters the lion's roar and delivers wonderful lectures on such as the sutras, Gaya, Vyakarana, the Gatha, ungenerosity, Itirtaka, Jatakas, Vaipulya, and Abudanta Dharma. He thus expounds these 9 types of Buddhist sutras. He bestows benefits and quietude upon others, but thus he says, prohibitions are given in the Nirvana Sutra to bhikshus, which say that they should not keep menial cows, sheep, or anything contrary to the prohibitions. Should bhikshus keep such defiled things, they must be taught not to. Shakyamuni Buddha has stated in the sutras of various schools that any bhikshu who keeps such things must be corrected, just as kings correct bad acts, and must be driven back to secular life. Ooh, that's pretty severe punishment, actually. In other words, kicked out of the Sangha. When a bhikshu raises such a lion's roar, anyone who breaks the precepts on hearing this will get all angry and harm this monk. If this person dies as a result of this, he is to be called one who upholds the precepts and who benefits both his own self and others. For this reason, kings, ministers, prime ministers, and upasakas protect those who deliver lectures. Any person who protects wonderful Dharma should learn things this way or thusly. O Kashyapa, any person who thus breaks the precepts and who does not protect wonderful Dharma is to be called an untrue monk. One who is strict in observance of the rules does not gain such a name. O good man, in the past, innumerable, boundless asamkayas of kalpas past, there appeared in this town of Kusinagara a Buddha who was the almsgiving, the all-enlightened one, the all-accomplished one, the well-gone, the all-knower, the unsurpassed one, the best trainer, the teacher of all pure land and earth, Shakyamuni Buddha, world-honored one, and whose name was Buddha of joy and benefit augmentation. Oops, I see Shakyamuni Buddha does not belong there. It's just Buddha, yeah. The corrections are endless. You know, as I write books of this nature, I'm acutely aware of what I'm trying to do, and that is to clarify meaning, yeah? But it's like there's two brains at work, one clarifying meaning and one trying to understand what's already written so that there's no loss of meaning in any additions or substitutions that I make. And it ends up being quite often that I leave things that are obvious, typos or whatever. So it's important to do these rereadings. And many of you have commented that you kind of enjoy that, so maybe it helps you too. So here, we'll go on. At that time, the world was wide and gloriously pure, rich and quietude-full. The people were at the height of prosperity, and no hunger was felt. He, or they, looked like the bodhisattvas of the land of quietude and happiness. That Buddha world, honored one, stayed in the world for an innumerable length of time. Having taught the people, he entered parinirvana between the twin sal trees. Shakyamuni Buddha, having entered nirvana, the teaching remained in the world for countless billions of years, and the last part of the remaining 40 years, the Buddhist teaching had still not died. At that time, there was a bhikshu called Enlightened Virtuous. So right away, I'm going to correct that Shakyamuni thing. It's true that, and it may be that I left that there because I was telling myself, again, about the personages. Shakyamuni Buddha writes about his own life in the past tense as previous lands, and he uses himself as an example, past, present, future. So everything is really an emanation, as you'll read, of him, of his mind, of the mind of the ninth consciousness, right? This bhikshu, enlightened virtuous, who upheld the precepts well and was surrounded by many of his relatives, he raised the lion's roar and preached all the 9 types of sutras. He taught, saying, "Do not keep menials, men or women, cows, sheep, or whatever might go against the precepts." At that time, there were many bhikshus who were acting contrary to the precepts, and on hearing this, they entertained ill will, and came upon this bhikshu, brandishing swords and staffs. At that time, there was a king called Virtuous. He heard of this. To protect Dharma, he came to where the bhikshu was delivering his lectures and fought against the malevolent doers so that the bhikshu did not suffer. The king, however, received wounds all over his body. Then the bhikshu, enlightened virtuous, praised the king, saying, well done, O king. You are a person who protects the wonderful Dharma. In days to come, you will become the unsurpassed utensil of Dharma." The king listened to his lecture and rejoiced. Then he died and was born in the land of Buddha Akshobhya. Remember King Ashoba? And became his foremost disciple. The subjects of this king, his relatives and soldiers, were all glad and did not retrogress in their bodhicitta, or their resolve to gain enlightenment. When the day came to depart the world, they were born in the land of Buddha Akshobhya. At that time, when wonderful Dharma is about to die out, one should act and protect Dharma like this. O Kashyapa, the king, at that time was I. The bhikshu who delivered the lecture was Buddha Kashyapa, your future. O Kashyapa, one who guards wonderful Dharma is recompensed with such incalculable fruition. That is why I today adorn my body in various ways and have perfectly achieved the indestructible Dharma body. What is the Dharma body? Dharma is the experience of enlightenment, yes? The experience of enlightenment body is the full expression and experience of Tathagata-field Potential. Bodhisattva Kashyapa further said to Shakyamuni, O world-honored one, the eternal or outside of time body of the Tathagata field is one carved in stone, as it were. Well, as I note here, not really. Stone, after all, is a created thing. But you see the slippery... Shakyamuni Buddha said to Kashyapa, O good man, for that reason, bhikshus, bhikshunis, upasakas, upasikas should all the more make effort and protect wonderful Dharma. The reward for protecting wonderful Dharma is extremely great and innumerable. O good man, because of this, those upasakas who protect Dharma should take the sword and staff and protect such a bhikshu who guards Dharma. Even though a person upholds the precepts, we cannot call that person one who upholds Mahayana. Even though a person has not received in formal ceremony the 5 precepts, if he protects wonderful Dharma, such a one can well be called one of the Mahayana. A person who upholds the wonderful Dharma should take the sword and staff and guard bhikshus. Which bhikshus? Why guard them? For the promulgation of the wonderful Dharma. Kashyapa said to Shakyamuni, O world-honored one, if all bhikshus are to be accompanied by such upasakas with the sword and staff, can we say that they are worthy of the name, or are they unworthy of such? Or is this upholding the precepts or not? There's some confusion. Shakyamuni said to Kashyapa, do not say that such persons are those who transgress the precepts. O good man, after I have entered nirvana, the world will be malevolence-ridden and the land devastated, each pillaging the other, and the people will be driven by hunger. It's going to be a mess. At such time, because of hunger, men may make up their minds, abandon home, and enter the Sangha. Such persons are untrue monks. They're just running away. Such, on seeing those persons who are strict in their observance of the precepts, right in their comportment, and pure in their deeds, upholding the wonderful Dharma, will drive such away or kill them or cause harm to them. Bodhisattva Kashyapa said again to Shakyamuni, O world-honored one, how can all such persons upholding the precepts and guarding the wonderful Dharma get into villages and castle towns and teach, if it's such a craven world after you're gone? O good man, this is why I allow those who uphold the precepts to be accompanied by the white-clad people, lay people, non-monks, with the sword and staff. Although all kings, ministers, rich laymen, grabhati, wealthy householders, and upasakas may possess the sword and staff for protecting Dharma, I call this upholding the precepts. You may possess the sword and staff, but do not take life. If things are thus, we call this first-hand upholding of the precepts. It's about protection, not attacking, right? We're not going to war. We're standing firm. That's what this is about. Nichiren restates this in his time, our time, right? Determination, steadfastness. Sometimes the swords and bows and arrows are language, right? Some of us are better debaters. Some of us are better at, and this is a skill we've talked about a lot in the Lotus Sutra, learning how to be persuasive and construct storytelling in a meaningful way to the audience with the sensitivity of knowing what our audience needs to hear that is relatable to their experience, to bring them to the understanding of the wonderful Dharma, of the teachings. This is a skill we all develop as we practice, because as our understanding deepens, so too does our ability to describe it, to share it. Kashyapa said, anyone who protects Dharma abides in right view and widely expounds the Mahayana Sutras. He does not carry the bejeweled parasols of royal persons, oil pots, unpolished rice, or fruit and seeds. He does not approach a king, minister, or rich for profit. He does not flatter the Dhanapatis, and is perfect in comportment, and crushes down those who transgress against the precepts and who do malevolence. Such a person is called a teacher who upholds and protects the Dharma. He is a true, good teacher of the way. His mind is as expansive as the sea. O Kashyapa, should there be a bhikshu who speaks about Dharma for profit, the people and his relatives will also follow his example and greedily seek profit. This person thus spoils, does harm to people. O Kashyapa, of the monks there are three kinds. And let's see, where are we time-wise? Okay. The first is the precept breaking, or the mixed-up monk. The precept-breaking mixed-up monk can easily be broken spiritually injured, whereas the precept-observing monk cannot be broken just by profit or anything. How is one a precept-breaking mixed-up monk? A bhikshu may be upholding the precepts, but for profit he sits, stands up, goes, and comes with precept-breaking people and is on friendly terms with them and does things together with them. This is a precept-breaking, hence mixed-up monk. This is no different than the Western fables about keeping good company. Your friends, as Nichiren would point out, your greatest potential for malevolent friends, right, evil in your life, comes from your closest associations. Family, close friendships. Those people know your every in and out. They know how to sway you intimately. And before you know it, you've been influenced and you're doing things that you would never do on your own. Willingly. Yeah. Second is the ignorant monk. Why do we call a monk ignorant? A bhikshu may be living in a quiet place, but all his sense organs are not proper. They're not controlled. His mind is dark and slow at working. He desires little and begs alms. On the day of admonition and freedom, a lunar calendar holiday celebrated by the Theravada sects, he does not teach pure confessions to all the people. Seeing many people breaking the precepts, he does not teach them pure confession. Yet he sits with others, talks about the precepts, and seeks to be free. Such a one is ignorant monk. In other words, oh, it's not my place. I don't know how to tell that person they're not doing right. They'll figure it out on their own. No, you're missing your practice and the point of the teachings entirely. That's an ignorant monk. And you'll notice a little tip here that pumps out of the rhetoric that the contributor, maybe to the entire translation here, comes from a strong Theravada background. So we can understand where a lot of these incomplete and misinterpretations are coming from. Believe me, I had to challenge a lot of them. 3, the pure monk. Who is the pure monk? There is a bhikshu, a monk among 100,000 billion maras cannot break. Now this bodhisattva is pure in his nature and can train the 2 types of monks referred to above and make them live among those who are pure. He is the unsurpassed great teacher who protects Dharma well, who well upholds the precepts. He knows well what is light or grave in the keeping of the precepts and adjusts and benefits people. He does not know anything that is not characterized by upholding the precepts. What he knows is what concerns the precepts. What does he do to adjust beings? Well, for example, to adjust people, the bodhisattva always enters a village anytime and visits the places where widows and prostitutes live. He lives there for many years. This is what Sravakas cannot do without being influenced the other way around, yeah? This is what is called adjusting and benefit beings. Unlike the precept-breaking monk who goes into those situations and just acts like he belongs there or she belongs there, this monk goes there and stays there for the express purpose of leading people out of their malevolent behaviors. How does he know what is grave? Now, if one sees that Shakyamuni Buddha admonishes and prohibits something, one should not do it thereafter. Things such as the 4 grave offenses, killing, stealing, committing sexual misconduct, and telling lies, are what the monks must not do. If contrary to this, he purposely does such things, this indicates that such a person is no longer a bhikshu, no son of the Shakyamuni Buddha. This is what is grave. What is light? A person commits light ill deeds and is thrice admonished. Then he stops doing such again. This is light. We say non-vinaya, which is not proved. A person praises and says that one may receive and take impure things and says that one accords with the word and does not stop doing this. We say right vinaya, which is rightly responded, observed. This is correctly learning the Vinaya rules of monastic discipline, not drawing near to what is contrary to the Vinaya, and spiritually sharing pleasures. Thus, one ensures that the Vinaya is observed. Thus, one well understands what one ought to do as a Buddhist, and one expounds it well. This is what the Vinaya refers to as well understanding the one letter. The same applies to upholding the sutras. O good man, Shakyamuni Buddha Dharma is incalculable and hard to fathom. The same is also the case with the Tathagata-field. It is beyond knowing. All right. We are going to break here. And right at the point where Bodhisattva Kashyapa, once again, the interlocutor of Shakyamuni Buddha in this case, starts up again. So, let's see, interesting. Oh, we're almost done. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm going to make this one a little long, but because it's only like a couple paragraphs. So let's finish this chapter, okay? Bodhisattva Kashyapa said to Shakyamuni Buddha, O world-honored one, it is so, it is so. It is as you, the exalted ones, say. Unbounded and incomprehensible is Buddha Dharma. Thus, too, is the Tathagata-field. All stands beyond comprehension. So, too, the Tathagata-field. Thus, I know now that the Tathagata-field is eternal or outside of time and is indestructible, and that there is no change with it. I shall now study well and expound it widely to people. Then Shakyamuni Buddha praised Bodhisattva Kashyapa and said, well said, well said. The body of the Tathagata-field is adamantine and indestructible. You, Bodhisattva, now have the right view and the right understanding. If you see clearly thus, you will see the adamantine and indestructible body of the Tathagata-field just as you see things reflected in a mirror. You will attain Buddhahood. So I have a note here. From the above descriptions of the three types of monks, Shakyamuni Buddha makes very clear his expectation of strict adherence of the Dharma teachings for all beings, with special observance for those monks who are in a position to teach others. Since this position is the endeavor of each monk as to make Bodhisattva Mahasattva, the goal of proper practice, the expectation of strict adherence is never more applicable to those monks. It has been said of Bodhisattva Nichiren that his doctrines allowed for little deviation of the teachings of the Lotus or his own doctrines. It is evident from the definitions of these three types of monks that the strictness of practice for enlightenment of self and others has had its strictures from the very start. Thank you, Nichiren, an excellent monk. All right, next will be Chapter 6 on the virtue of the name. Should be an interesting one. I hope you will tune in to hear the beginnings of that chapter next time. In the meantime, a deeply heartfelt thanks to all of my patrons on Patreon, on PayPal, and if you're not able, certainly understandable at the time to dedicate a monthly stipend or donation for my efforts here, that's okay. I'm trying something on Patreon where I'm making the videos, not all, I'm just starting, to make them available for a single donation so you don't have to have the recurring business. And also, just like and subscribe. Very helpful via the mechanisms of YouTube, right? It gets us more in the search results of more people, so more ability to expand our Sangha here. And on that note, if you want to share, you can share the link to these videos to people that you know or could benefit from, or in advance of maybe meeting them to have something to review, talk about, have a watch party, watch a video, one of these videos with a group of friends or people that you think would be interested or who have told you they're interested. First, get together and chant for a little while, and then watch the video, and then you have something to talk about, ask questions about. Maybe even raise issues that you could write down and email to me so I could help interact with your group. Yeah? Anything I can do to raise your commitment, your confidence in your attainment and your friends as well. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening. Thank you, most of all, for your practice, yes? Namo Myo Renge Kyo. I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.